Picture this. You send a DM to your friend in New York. You think that message floats up into the sky, bounces off a satellite, and gently rains down on their iPhone? Wrong. If we relied on satellites, your internet would be slower than a dial-up connection in 1998. The latency would make gaming impossible.
Here's the reality. The cloud is actually a wet, muddy, freezing cold tube sitting at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. These are submarine cables. 99% of all international data, your Netflix, your bank transfers, your late-night doom scrolling, travels through these garden hose-sized pipes. They are fragile. They are expensive. And yes, sharks used to eat them. But without them, the global economy.
So, let's crack one open and see how we send the entire internet through a strand of glass thinner than a human hair. If you picked up a submarine cable, you'd be disappointed. It's heavy, it's covered in tar, and it smells like dead fish. But inside, it's an engineering marvel. In the dead center, you have the optical fibers. This is the holy grail. Pure silica glass. We shoot lasers down these strands to transmit data. But glass breaks, so we wrap it in a copper tube. Why copper? Not for data, for power. We have to pump 10,000 volts of electricity across the ocean just to keep the signal alive. Why 10,000 volts? Because physics. High voltage means we can push the power thousands of miles without losing it all as heat. Then comes the muscle. High-tensile steel wires. This isn't there to protect it from fish. It's there so we can hang the cable off the back of a ship 8 kilometers deep without it snapping under its own weight. Here's the kicker. In the middle of the ocean, the cable is tiny. But near the shore, we armor it like a tank. Why? Because the biggest threat to the internet isn't spies or cyber attacks. It's fishermen who don't know how to park their boats. But these cables aren't just about Netflix. They are about power. And for the last 50 years, they have been the perfect weapon for spies. Back in the 1970s, the U.S. Navy realized that Soviet commanders were talking to each other using an undersea cable in the Sea of Okhotsk. They thought it was safe. It wasn't. The U.S. sent a submarine, the USS Halibut, to sneak into Soviet waters. Divers actually walked on the ocean floor to install a massive listening device called the tap. It didn't pierce the cable. It used induction to listen to the electromagnetic hum. Today, the game is even scarier. We don't need divers. Modern cables are smart. But nations are terrified of kill switches. If a war starts, the first thing an enemy navy will do is cut these cables. That is why countries like the US and China are currently fighting a digital Cold War over who gets to build the cables. Because whoever builds the pipe controls the flow. Now, let's get back to the physics. If I shine a laser pointer in the ocean, it doesn't go to America. It fades out. We use a physics cheat code called total internal reflection. Imagine a hallway made entirely of mirrors. If you throw a tennis ball, it doesn't hit the wall and stop. It bounces. Forever. That is what the light does inside the glass. It zigzags its way across the Atlantic at 99.7% the speed of light. But even light gets tired. After 100 kilometers, the signal dies. So we drop a repeater on the ocean floor. This is a 300-kilogram amplifier that catches the dying light, injects it with fresh energy using alien-level physics called erbium doping, and blasts it to the next station. But here is a secret problem. Glass is actually slow. Light travels 31% slower in glass than in air. For you, that's nothing. For Wall Street traders, that 31% delay costs billions. That's why engineers are building hollow core fiber, cables with microscopic air tunnels. The laser shoots through air, not glass. It's the speed of light, unlocked. So how do we lay these things? You need a ship that carries 8,000 tons of cable. It takes months. Near the coast, they use a robot plow to bury the cable. But in the deep ocean, they just drop it. But you can't just drop it anywhere. If you drape a cable over an underwater cliff, the current will strum it like a guitar string until it snaps. Engineers have to map the ocean floor better than Mars just to find a flat path. But accidents happen. A ship drops an anchor. Snap. The internet goes dark. How do you fix a wire 8 kilometers down? You can't send a diver. You use a grapnel, a giant hook that drags along the bottom until it catches the broken cable and pulls it up. Once it's on the ship, it's surgery time. The deck is wet and salty, but the glass must be perfectly clean. Engineers have to splice 2 hairs together on a moving boat in a storm. It's the hardest job in tech. Let's address the shark. In the 80s, sharks bit cables because the electromagnetic field felt like fish. We fixed that with shielding. Sharks are innocent. The real enemy is us. 70% of breaks are fishing boats. One careless captain drops a hook, and Vietnam loses connection to the US. So who pays for this? It used to be telecom companies. But today, It's big tech Google and Facebook now on the ocean. They are building their own private internet highways to make sure their cloud never goes offline. So the next time you connect to Wi-Fi, remember, you aren't connecting to the sky. You are connecting to a laser beam, shooting through a glass tube, resting in the mud, thousands of miles away. The cloud is a lie. The ocean is the reality. If you learned something, hit subscribe. If you didn't, go tell a shark. I'll see you in the next one.